Okay, so I'm going to try to explain in more detail the workflow and answer to your questions in your email. So I had 3 spark boxes. I own 4, but 3 of them we were using camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3. So I have my network locked down. So everything on my network has a static IP address. Alright, so everything on there is static. This is my entire network. Alright, so I have my computers and devices, my network devices. The only thing that's not static is my Dante audio, and all of that is in a different VLAN, so it's not even in the same network. And I've spent a ton of time with this network. All right, so let me talk about that a little bit. Let me just talk about the connections. All right, so I have a main switch. All right, we use the Unify switch 24 250 watt. All right, so I have actually 2 of those. So this is we call this the truck switch, and when at a show we connect our switches via fiber. All right, so inside the venues we have a rack. All right, we have an identical switch that the truck switch gets connected to. We call this the remote switch or the bob. This is the breakout box. All right, so everything goes fiber to that switch, and at that particular show that we're talking about, I had an 8-port switch also. All right, that was connected via fiber directly to the truck, and then I have my ports for the Dante audio, and then the ports for regular network. All right, so the PTZ camera was actually plugged into this switch via fiber to the truck switch, and then all the other spark boxes were connected to that remote switch right there. All right, so it's switch, fiber to switch, and then Ethernet cables to the sparks. All right, so that's kind of the network flow, and you can see here, I mean, it's all gigabit. Everything's locked down. You can see that I have gigabit on the IsoCorder PC, and this is the Tricaster PC. There it is, gigabit. All right, everything's gigabit, and the IPs are locked down, so the IPs don't change. And this computer here, it's called IsoCorder. It does nothing else but run the IsoCorder software. All right, so I don't have it doing anything else except recording the software. All right, so that is our basic setup at each show. We have the bob that we take inside the venue. We connect it to the truck via a fiber, and we build our own network. We don't rely on venues networks to do our productions. We just create our own. The only thing we get sometimes at a venue is internet, and we have a gateway, and right now it's plugged into the home internet. And then we also, on that particular show, we have cellular internet. So I have a MoFi router that gives us internet when we're don't have internet from a venue. So next I will talk about the firmware. That's such a pain to get into. They're all the latest, but I will prove it to you that I'll go through each one. This is camera 1. You can see the firmware version, and I'll go and show you that each camera is locked down via, like I said, each camera has its own IP. I don't do anything dynamic. I want to know what's going on in the network. So You can see this is my network right now, what's plugged in. So at any time I have a glance at my network and can troubleshoot from there. So I will go through each box, plug it in, and show you the results. Here's Spark Box 2. Again, manual IP addresses. Here's camera 3. Here's camera 4. Even though we didn't use this one, I will still show you that it has the same firmware. And finally, this little gem. If I would have known about this camera, I wouldn't have bought it. The quality of this camera is horrible. It's been nothing but problems. But here is its version, firmware version, and it is also set via direct IP, manual IP. So there you have it. There are the firmwares of the cameras. Now I will go to the Tricaster. So you asked about the session settings. Alright, our cameras, all our Sonys are 1080 30p. So the session is the same session, the same 1080 30p. Alright, so as you can see, all my other shows that I've done are the same setting because that's what our cameras can output. So that's not the problem. I don't know if I believe that statement right there. So there's the time code of the Tricaster in the same session, and it does match. It's spitting out the same thing. There's the PTZ that was in the session, so it is fired up right now. So you asked the question, am I using all the recordings from the IsoCorder Pro and you're not using any recordings from the Tricaster? That is correct. I used everything from the IsoCorder. So I used the program feed from the IsoCorder. I did record it on the Tricaster separately as a backup, but I did not use that in my edit. Now, this is interesting. So this is camera 3, which is the PTZ, and that's programmed. Now watch. I'm going to put my hand over it. You can see the delay. Look at that. What is wrong? That should be right on. Now I will be doing some audio sync tests. We started, my buddy and I, who works on a big production truck, we did some testing. We didn't test every Spark box, but we narrowed it down that even the audio directly out of the Spark boxes is delayed. Does not match up when you come out of the camera direct into the system versus into the back of the Tricaster, hardwired versus NDI, and it's more than just a couple frames. So, but that's a whole other set of videos. But looks like I'm testing your stuff out, so I may as well make that as well. Alright, so here are the files again inside Premiere. Alright, so I'm very anal about my file, what I name them, how I store them. So here's the IsoCorder, here's this show, we did 2 shows that day, a 5 o'clock show and a 12 o'clock show. Now this is very interesting. So look at the time code of when the program says it started. All right. Now, that's at the beginning. That's all the way to the left. All right. So remember that. So now we'll go to camera 1. Look where that time code started. Not even close. Not even close, boys. Camera 2. That one is about the same as camera 1. Still not the same. So here's camera 1. So that's 1 frame off. Camera 3. That's the PTZ. Look at the time code it started at. That's not good. Not good. Camera 4. We're back to the 0547. So that matches. So camera 1 and camera 4 match right out of the gate, which that's what I would expect. That everything that's recorded in the IsoCorder would start at that time code. But we're 1 frame off here, and then the PTZ, not even close, and the program, not even close. So 3418, what was the PTZ? That was 3. So 3418 was program, 3433 is the PTZ. So those two are within range, still not acceptable, but c'est la vie, huh? And just to roll out that Premiere's not the problem. What I do when I create a sequence, I actually take footage from the actual thing and then I drag it over and create a session, so that way that is the same settings as the footage. So you can see that is what it created, and then I will go to the one I'm editing. So this one, view the properties, and you can see that it is at 29.97 frames per second at 1920 by 1080. So it's not a Premiere problem.